Hi everyone, this is Sharon. Today I have a design team project for Christina at Crislanacrafts to share with you. I made this journal for my project. On the front, I went all out on the bling. I've had this in my collection of vintage jewelry, and it's a brooch, and I just thought the color goes well since there's some black in the cover. So I'm just going to pull that off. I decided to go with a piece of lace for my tie on this one. And the cover that I used is one that I purchased. It's an antique French book cover. I believe this one came from Jacqueline. And it came as two pieces, the front and the back cover, and it did not have a spine. So I had to create my own spine, which I did using this beautiful old French fabric. The cover is this red, black, and gold, beautifully embossed. I don't use red very often, but if I do, I love it to be this very faded, very muted color of red, which this cover is, and I just love it. And then this is what the back looks like. The spine is about 2 inches. And then heading on inside, I used primarily for this journal Christina's kit called Souvenir de Printemps, and I also used a secondary one called Bouquets. So it's very feminine. Christina has lots of women, beautiful women in her kits. So it has a lot of pretty ladies, a lot of flowers. It's very soft and feminine in its theme and feel. For the front cover, I used this image from the Graphics Fairy. It's a book page. And for the inside of my spine, I used the same fabric that I used on the outside. And I think it just complements the colors nicely. So going on inside for this first page, I've got this velvet and lace tab. And then here I created a lace pocket, and in there I've got some pieces of ephemera, this old French postcard, and some French book pages. Here I have an onion skin correspondence from 1900. And then here I've got this beautiful lady. I love that picture. And I've just embellished that page a little bit with that metallic paper. And then on this side, I made a journaling card. So I printed this image on some ledger paper and just tied it up with some string and eyelets to this flash card and provide some writing room on the back. Here I created this pocket with this beautiful pattern and embellished that with some lace and a paper doily and a button. And then in there I've got this French label. And then this is a beautiful image from one of Christina's kits. And then the back side I just stenciled lightly, and it gives lots of writing room. I will list all of links to Christina's kits down below, the main ones that I use. There's probably 4 or 5 kits that I used in this journal. Here on this page, it's one of these beautiful bouquet images, and I just flipped that out and put a tab on there. I had, because of the size, this is about, I think, 9 inches tall, I had to hinge all of my pages. So you'll see some of them come through, like this one I hinged across and then just punched the piece, the flap that came across and was glued to this page, just to add a little bit of decorative detail. Here I created a top tuck, and then in there I've got some ephemera, this canceled check, and this old correspondence that is in French from 1920. And just a side note, Paula, one of my viewers, asked me if I would demonstrate how I do my edging the slow stitch edging. I did it on a previous one as well, and she asked me to show that. So later this week, I will put out a video showing you how I do that. On this page, I embellished with a wax seal and just added some pretty velvet ribbon, some avocado dyed paper. Here I used a piece of a handkerchief for my top tuck, some pretty lace on there, and then in that tuck I have another French label and this plate image from an old French book. On this page I embellished with this tissue paper ruffle. It's like a sewing pattern tissue. And then on this side I just have this linen tab, and this flips out. I've got this pocket here with a little bit of fabric embellishment, and then in that pocket I have this beautiful little girl that I made into a tag. That's the back side, and I just added some old lace on the top. This page is an old book page from a French ledger. It had, I'll take my clip off of here. It had this page kind of tipped in to this one, and I just left that on there. And then we've got these two sides. I've created a couple of flip outs and just embellished those with some texture paste. And then inside I've got these journaling cards. This beautiful lady, I just gave her a frame and backed her with some linen fabric and added, this is a Roxy Creations label. And then this one, I have to be careful because these pages are rather delicate. Okay, and then this one. And then I've got this beautiful washi tape from Anna at Lace Boutique 1 in there that I love. On this side of the page, I clipped on some more old pieces of ephemera. So I've got this French calling card and this page of stamps. And I love the blue color on there. On this page, such a beautiful image. I just took some old paper that I pulled out of a steamer trunk and stitched that down here and here just to embellish a little bit. And then on this side of the page, the other piece of that beautiful hanky. And in there, I've got a couple of journaling cards that I made. This one, I've got some velvet ribbon at the bottom and a tab. And then the back, I just added some coffee dyed paper and a stamp. And then this one, I've got some vintage fabric on the front and layered it up with an old dictionary page and added a floral sticker on the back. Here, as my tab, I used another piece of that handkerchief, and I just pinned it on with this old hat pin. Added a few beads on there, and then that just pulls out, has this beautiful bouquet image on that page. And then on this side, I've got this beautiful linen and lace piece as a flip up and lots of journaling space on this side of the page. And I just did some machine stitching across the top. This was one of the original book pages. Jacqueline sent along a few pages with the cover, so I included those in here. Here I created a side tuck with this clear vellum piece, and then in there I've got this French label, and then this is a page from a vintage rose book that I have. So I've got one of the plates and then one of the book pages attached. Another beautiful lady on this page, and I just embellished that with some trim. In the middle of this signature, I've got 2 belly bands that I made from this beautiful mushroom colored velvet ribbon, and I just embellished with a couple of paper buttons. And then in those 2, I'll show you the backs of the pages as well. Some beautiful images from Christina. And then in here, I just made these holders out of some shorthand book pages. Added a label and then tuck these tags in there. Back those with some old ledger paper. And then this one. Here I just took some fabric and stitched it onto the page. And then here I created a top tuck, embellished that a little bit with some paper doily. And then in there I've got this French postcard. And then I created one of these document holders. So I've got just stamped across the top of this flap to embellish it a little bit. Then I've got some old book pages that I've included, some other pieces of ephemera, some writing space at the bottom. This is a coffee dyed piece of paper. And then this last piece, I just put some lined paper in there. And then on this side is this beautiful image from one of Christina's kids. And I just embellished that with another Roxy label. I've got these old brass fasteners that I used at the top. I embellished this lady with this metal filigree piece at the top. And then here I took some of this old fabric that I have and just created a belly band and added some lace to that. And then in there I tucked this beautiful owl plate from a book that I have. It's called Familiar Wild Birds. And this is the page that it was attached to. It's just kind of tipped in again on the page, so I left them together. And then for my actual page, I've got some vintage book pages with some neat old images on them. I believe these are Italian. Here I created this pocket, and then in there I tucked this beautiful old French letter from, looks like I can never read those, 1867, I believe. I know there's some beautiful handwriting inside that. Here I've got a flip out, and I just punched the edge of that. And these 2 beautiful ladies on the inside, I just did a little embellishing with some lace and this embossed piece of paper. On this side of the page, I clipped on this journaling card. And then on the back, I created this top tuck, and then in there, I just added this little ledger page where I printed on. And then I backed this with some piano paper. It's the most unusual roll I have. It's this very dark kind of, I don't know what you call it, taupey color. Here I have a very old piece of French music paper. And I just added this lace pocket. And then in there I've got this lady. Some writing room on the back. On this side, I just folded the paper over to create a little tuck. And I've got some pressed flowers from my yard. And I just waxed them inside this glassine envelope. And then I added this love letter to go along with it. Here's a faux calling card that I made. Just tuck that on there. And then on this side of the page, I created a cluster with an old book spine, some sari ribbon ruffle, and this little label on there. Here I created a pocket with this beautiful old piece of tapestry fabric. and then just embellished it with some rayon ribbon. And then in there, I made this tag. I love this girl. Some really beautiful blues in this picture. I just used some lace for my tab. And then I've got embossed paper on the back that I added some gold gilding to. This is definitely my favorite image in the whole journal. I absolutely love this image. I could stare at this page all day. I love everything about it. The girl, the butterflies, you know, the subject matter is really neat. And then all the colors. I just love the color combinations on that page. So I didn't do much to it. I added a little bit of glitter in her headband and then a little bit of lace at the bottom here. On this page, I've got a couple of vintage photos, and then I also clipped in this journaling card that I made. And it's got some embossed wallpaper in the back. This is an old piece of ephemera in French. I don't know if it's got a date on it or not. I don't see one. And then it's just blank in the back, so I added some stencil paste in the corner. On this page, I did something a little different. I have some double pockets, one on the top and bottom. And I'm just going to take the pieces of ephemera out. So this was a collage sheet that Christina had, and I just reprinted these sections and put them on as little tucks on the top and the bottom. And then in each of those, I've got a vintage playing card that I just did some collaging on the back, and then these library card catalogs. I just added a little bit of ribbon and some beads at the bottom. And I left them pretty much blank on the back. I added some flowers, but they can be used for writing space. And then these two. On this page, I created kind of a top tuck with this piece of velvet ribbon. That's what the page looks like. And then I just created this little holder for tags or journaling cards. It's made from a page of like an old document image. This actually is one from that I have in my Etsy shop. I love it because it's this pale blue and then it's got all these ink spots on it in kind of a really neat turquoisey color. And I just kept the back plain for writing space, added some labels, and this beautiful stamp from Tailor Made Journals I just kind of stamped over the top. Let's see, I think I had it folded this way and then this way. And then in there I have this journaling card of a chandelier that I made. Just added a little lace at the top. This old book page on the back. I didn't want to cover it because there's some handwriting on there. And then for my pages in the center of the signature, I've got these embroidery pages from a French embroidery book. And then I just added this paper doily. And in the very center, I've got this landscape image that I waxed. And then just added another little waxed piece on there. And then on the strings, I have these beautiful little tiny pearl buttons. And then the edges of these pages, I just punched and then turned in. They're quite thin, so that gives them a little bit more structure. And then over on this side, I've got another one of those pretty velvet tuck spots and another piece of this document image. And I backed this one with this music sheet cover image. And then in there, I've got another beautiful chandelier card, some writing room on the back. here, I love this lady and her sunflowers. And I just gave her a pocket at the bottom of the page. And then in there, I made this piece. So it's got some beautiful floral images and kind of neutral tones. And then I just collaged this back sheet and put those together with the brad. And there's also a piece of this faux rice paper in the middle that I made. And then this is the back. And then there's also some writing room in the backs. Here I've got some more stenciling on there with paste. And I just added a little ink to this one to give it some color. Here I created a pocket with some embossed paper and just collaged a little bit on there. And then in the background is this beautiful image from Christina. And then in there I have this old book page, and I just tucked this little butterfly in there. And that reminds me of something. I think I might have skipped a page possibly, because I have that butterfly on another page back here. I don't remember seeing it. Here, I think I did skip this page. I do that occasionally. So here I've got, on this page, I just added a little bit of washi tape, but I also added several layers of that butterfly here and back to with dictionary page, just to add a little 3D element on the page. And then this is an old book page as well with this beautiful image on it. Let's see if I skipped anything else in here. No, I don't think so. All right, we can hop back to the back again. Okay, so I have that sheet, and then I have this item that I made. It's a journaling card, or a tag, I guess you could call it. I've got a tab at the top with this old fabric on there. And then this lady is a pocket, so I just stitched around her and added a button and some ribbon. And then this pulls out. And then the back is an old photo album page. And that brings us to our last page, and this is another Graphics Fairy image that I used for the inside cover. This journal is for sale on my Etsy shop, so if you're interested, you can hop on over there to check it out. I am so happy you came along with me today. Thank you very much, and until next time, bye-bye.